Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Sunday, July 28th, 2019. This is episode 336. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more episode, and if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and you'll come back in the future, as well as maybe checking out some of our past episodes. As you can see, I'm flying solo once again this episode. Summertime is very busy for Amanda. She went back to her hometown. I would say my hometown, but the hometown she grew up in, it was a town over from where I grew up in. And anyway, she went back to visit friends from high school and go to a kind of summer party type thing. So I don't think she's getting home till tonight. And she told me, in all honesty, she hadn't touched her crafts in 2 weeks. So there was really nothing to show. But I told her people like seeing her on the podcast and hearing her stories and catching up with her. But, you know, she rolled her eyes and whatever. So it's just me, but I have a lot to show, a lot to talk about, and I hope you'll stick with me. So let's go back into the last 2 weeks and quickly recap. I have been to Nashville for the Super Summer Knit Together, which is a retreat hosted by Leslie and Laura of the Knit Girls video podcast. This was their 8th year hosting the event and my 6th year attending and my 5th year vending. So I went down on Wednesday. I drove our car down and I checked in and got my room and got settled in and cast on a new project. And I went to opening ceremonies, but I did take a little bit of a nap. I was a little bit tired. So I did take a little bit of a nap till about opening ceremonies. And then unfortunately, it seemed like most people had eaten beforehand. So I went and grabbed some Chipotle and went back and ate in my room and just kind of chilled and got acclimated on Wednesday night. But I woke up on Thursday, and I did not have any classes on Thursday, but I slept in a little bit, and I hung out in the meeting room, and I checked out door prizes, and I chit-chatted with groups. And then I went out to Mexican with a few friends on Thursday evening. Friday, I had a class in the morning. I had brioche and beyond, including tuck stitches, with Olga Jazzy is the teacher. Her name is Olga Baraya Keflian, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But anyway, she was an amazing teacher. Learned a lot more about brioche than I did in my first class that I took. And you'll see a little bit of brioche on my needles here in just a minute. But I enjoyed the class. And then Andy headed down Friday morning, and he got there Friday afternoon. We had lunch, and I chilled and hung out in the afternoon. And then Andy showed up, and we began setup for the market, which was Saturday. So we set up about halfway and went and had dinner with our friends at Bumblebee Acres Farm, Carissa and, oh my God, not Sarah. Oh my God. I'm having a brain fart. I'm also having an alcoholic beverage on the show, so... Sam! Oh my God, Sam, don't hate me. I'm having a brain fart. It's all your S names. Sarah, Sam... Anyway, Carissa and her daughter Sam came down from Bumblebee Acres, who are good friends of ours. I really, really can remember their name. Anyway, we were going to go to this restaurant called Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Nashville Hot Chicken. But we were warned that the line would be long, and the line was really long. And it was really hot, so much so that we Ubered the half a mile to the restaurant. And I was like, I'm not willing to wait in that line in the heat, in the sun. So we walked around to a few restaurants, and then I saw a restaurant that Amanda and I ate at last year called Sliders, which their whole concept is their burgers and sandwiches and sliders. So we all pretty much got the same thing. We got a 2-slider combo, and one of them was a Nashville hot chicken slider, and then the other one was this burger with like a fried egg on it and bacon, and it was delicious. And then we walked back and finished setting up on Friday. Got up super early for the market on Saturday. Sold till our hearts were content. Thank you to everyone who shopped our booth at SSK, and especially those of you who came in from the general public in the afternoon. They always draw in a large crowd to their market in the afternoon. And of course, it's Nashville in July, so the humidity is like 80 or higher, and it was really hot. But we tore down on Saturday evening, and Andy's like, you know what, I'm going to drive back home. We had a double bed that we could share. I had a little bit of a bigger bed than the normal twin, but it still was very tight for us. And he's like, you know what, it's 6 hours. I can be home a little after midnight. So he decided to take the van and head back home. I met some friends at the Mellow Mushroom and had an amazing buffalo chicken pizza that I get every year. And then we headed back for closing ceremonies, which I was falling asleep at, not because Leslie and Laura aren't entertaining. I was just exhausted. So after closing ceremonies, I went straight back to the room and crashed, and I got up in the morning, and I was going to go to breakfast, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to hit the road, and I'm going to go home. So I did, and but all in all, I had a great time. I always enjoy their event, and I hope to return next year. So that was a little over a week ago. And then we were back home working, and then on Friday this week, we drove over to Indianapolis, to the suburb of Greenwood, where we set up a trunk show at the Starstruck Cat Yarn Studio. And Susan's the owner there, and she was very, very nice and has a lovely store. So we set up Friday evening. They had an open knit night. We left a little bit before it closed, and got there. We got to sleep in because she doesn't open till 11 on Saturday, so we got to sleep in and go to a little breakfast place. And then we had the trunk show, and boy, was that crowd amazing. It was all women, but they had a spin-in that day, and Benita was there from Dyed in the Wool is her company, and she has the Fiber Pusher podcast, as well as many other lovely ladies who stopped in, and quite a few people who watched the show. So thank you so much to all of you who either, one, recommended our company to Susan to come in as a trunk show, but two, to actually show up and say hi. And whether you purchased or not, thank you so very much from the bottom of our hearts. So, we drove back last night and got back, 8:30, 9 o'clock, because we gained an hour coming back, and I've been working in the studio all day. So Andy took a little break in the afternoon today, and then he came back to work this evening. He's like, you know what, I'll let you have the house to yourself to record, which is nice. And then we're going to pick up some dinner and probably watch some Netflix tonight. All right. So that's it for my 2 weeks. Nothing too outrageous. So let's get to the knitting and the fiber, shall we? What's taking about? I do have a finished object. I finished my History Has Its Eyes on You socks. The socks were knit out of some white birch fiber arts, 75-25 superwash merino nylon in the History Has Its Eyes on You colorway. And I used some Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper mini skein in a one-off color for the cuff, heel, and toe. And I used a size 1 US 2.25 millimeter needles. And I feel really good that I got this off the needles and used this yarn because I picked this up at Stitches United, not this year, but last March. So working through some stash, and here they are. I did about a 10 round 2x2 cuff, and then I did 70 more rounds down the foot, put in some waist yarn for an afterthought heel, did about 90 rounds of self-striping, and then I did a rounded toe. So, and there they are, my hedgehog sock blockers from Perfectly Catchy Designs. And I'm really happy with them. Andy now gets to have these in his sock drawer for when it gets a little cooler. These are for him. I asked if he wanted them as a family holiday gift present, or if he wanted them for himself, and he said, I want them. And I said, okay. So, I just need to get some pictures taken of that, and then those go in the sock drawer. But that's all that I finished. But I got a lot that I'm working on. So what am I performing this episode? First from me is my wrap design, which is in one of these bags. Oh, right here. I didn't get much work done on this just because, I was gone for 5 days with SSK and 2 days with the trunk show. And I don't normally take this when I'm traveling because of lace and beads. But I have completed the lace after the fourth color, the first garter stripe of the fourth color. So again, it's very subtle. It's a very pale pistachio green into yellow, into a pale pink, into a slightly darker pink with some beads and lace. And this is knit with Leading Men Fiber Art Showstopper in Mary's Jam. That's the purple, and the gradient is a Showstopper gradient in the fruit salad colorway. I'm tentatively calling this my That's My Jam wrap. And it's knit on a size 5 US 3.75 millimeter needle using size 5 triangle beads. Next up is my Alpine Blanket, which don't have to work a whole lot on this to get a lot of progress. I believe I am on my 14th ball out of 20. And I don't believe I have permission from Andy to buy another bag. So when I hit the 20, it's where it's going to be. But here's where we're at as of now. I can't even show you the whole thing. So here it is. Big beard, huh? Yeah. But it's so soft and so cuddly. And I'm just going on that. Very, very mindless. My bag's getting a little small. I have a knitting pipeline retreat bag, one of my like 6, that I'm housing everything in. All right. Next up is Verdun by Melanie Berg. I'm using Leading Men Fiber Art Show Stealer in Nude Scene, Poseidon, Dirty Truce, and Black Walnut on a size 6 US 4 millimeter needle. I did put some work into this at driving to and from Indianapolis. Andy was nice and drove both ways. I am in section 5. I'm still short rowing, and a lot of ends to weave in. But so it starts over here with the striped garter, and then you do the green with the brown, kind of. And then I'm in the brown, and I'm short rowing here, and it'll eventually be angled this way. It's hard to show. Be angled that way, and then I'll do some lace. I think it wants me to do the lace in the brown, but I don't have that much brown left, and I have a decent amount of green. So there's a lace section that I will probably be doing in the green. But it's going to block out nice and big, because you know I like my big wraps. Not that I wear them, I just like knitting them, and I like their aesthetic. So that's making progress. The next 2 projects I'm going to show you are brand new, so I decided that when the socks were done, which I didn't quite finish them, I finished them right after SSK, but at SSK I decided to cast on a new project for while I was just hanging out in the open room, and I decided to cast on the Blend on the Water by Callie Monster using some Uncommon Thread Merino DK that I picked up at the Loopy U last summer in 4 colors, Arkham Asylum, Into Dust, Wilted Rose, and Aged Merlot, and they kind of fade and blend into each other using a slip stitch pattern. And so I am done with the first color, and I've blended in the second color, and now I'm just into the second color. So it's a triangle-shaped shawl, DK weight, and you can see it has that slip stitch motif along with a spine here and increases. And then you start alternating rows, and with the slip stitches, it kind of pixelates it out and blends it. And now I'm into, this is Arkham Asylum, and then this is Into Dust. And Arkham Asylum, you really can't see it, but it has the finest of speckles in it, blue, green, and pink. And that's being knit on a size 7 US 4.5 millimeter needle. So, yeah. I'm enjoying it. I thought it was going to be, once I cast on, I was like, this is not good retreat knitting. But then once you get it, I mean, you're following charts, but everything lines up. So all you got to do is kind of watch your increases and where you start. It's fine. So that's that. And then the last thing I cast on in my class with Olga, and I haven't worked on it since, but it's going to get some love on it maybe tonight while we watch TV. But I cast on the Reme Powell by Olga Baraya Keflian, and I'm using 2 skeins of Barocco Vintage Chunky in pumpkin and juniper, using a size 10 US 6mm needle. And it's brioche in the round, and it's one color brioche. However, you're alternating stripes, and you're alternating the rows, how many rows of the stripes you're doing, which gives you the different effect. So there's not much to see yet, but you can see I'm just switching the amount of rows, but here are the first set of rows, and this is brioche, but it is not reversible because this is brioche on stockinette rather than on ribbing. Ribbing is reversible. I learned quite a few things in her class, but yeah, so I'm enjoying that, and it's kind of a vintage bears combo. So I might have some ideas on who this might be gifted to later on. Methinks. Anyway, and that was good because this is some old stash that I had, and I was like, it literally was the night before I was going to leave. It was Tuesday night, and I was like, oh crap, my class. And I was like, I hope I have stuff. And I had to get this wound at the retreat because I was not willing to go back to the studio where my ball winder is and wind it up that night. So I just took it, and I was like, I know they do ball winding, so that's that. I'm not going to show you the granny square blanket because I maybe added a square or two. I didn't get a whole lot of work done on that. Alrighty. What's in rehearsal? Nothing as of right now that I know of. So my spinning, I am spinning some Hidden Valley Farm and Woolen Mill, 75% Coopworth, 25% Mohair Roving in the Cypress Moss colorway. And I had a big bump of it, a big 8-ounce bump, so I've been spinning for a while, and I finally took it into the studio before going to the trunk show this week, and this is what I have left of the first 2 ounces that I need to spin, and then I have a bump of the second 2 ounces, and then I'm going to 2-ply. It'll be an 8-ounce skein, and I'm just spinning my normal way, and enjoying that. That's some vintage fiber stash from 2011, back when Midwest Fiber and Folk was going on in the Chicago suburbs. And unfortunately, that event has not been going on for the past, I don't know, a lot of years, 6 years maybe. All right, let's move into the scene shop. What's going on in my other crafting world? I have done a little cross stitch, but nothing worth showing you, so I'm not going to show you my Heaven and Earth's design, One for Sorrow, that I'm working on. But I did finish some weaving, and I have balled up some yarn for another scarf. So I finished my Man of Mystery and Imperfection scarf, and I'm super happy with it. It will be photographed and updated to the shop sometime this week, but it will also be going with me to Stitches Midwest, and it'll be available in the booth. And here it is. So this is using Ladyman Fiber Arts Ghost Light, which is an 80% superfine merino, 20% silk. And I used our Man of Mystery colorway for the warp, which is the fringe here. And then I do, I forget what it's called. It's a stitched hem rather than knotted. And then I used our Imperfection colorway for the weft to kind of show off the variegation. So, and this was woven on my 15-inch Cricut that was generously gifted to me, and then using a 12 dent reed, which means it's 12 picks per inch. And I could not be happier with this. I love weaving with lace weight. I love weaving with the silk content. I love the drape of it. It's just going to get drapier, and I couldn't be happier for it. So truly enjoyed. It took me a while. Lace takes a while because, again, lace weight yarn, stacking it up as you're weaving it takes quite a bit longer. So I've decided to alternate between lace and fingering because I did a fingering weight scarf that I also enjoy. And so I am going to use some of our showcase base, which both Ghostlight and Showcase are being discontinued. We do have some ready to ship stock on our website that's automatically marked down 25%. So if you're interested in checking those out, they are listed at the bottom of our show notes, a direct link to both bases in our shop, and they're automatically discounted. If you have a discount code or future sales and stuff, it'll automatically apply to that to kind of move that stock. If you want to see a particular colorway on either one of those bases, we do have some undyed stock that we can dye for you and ship it to you and sell it to you at the discounted rate. But for my new scarf, I'm going to use Sangria as my warp. So that's the, kind of up and down, kind of hidden in the background. And then my weft is going to be Bahama Mama, which is a discontinued colorway. This is the last skein of it ever. So I decided to use it up rather than continue to have a discontinued colorway on a discontinued base in our shop. So I'm going to weave with it. So I balled those up today. And maybe I'll warp the... so tedious. Maybe I'll warp the loom here tonight or tomorrow or sometime this week. It's just like I have to take like an hour to an hour and a half just to warp it. And then I take like another hour to an hour and a half just to thread the yarn through the heddle and tie off and get ready to start weaving. Then you can weave and then it's fun. But it's a lot of prep time, so. But anyway, super happy with this scarf, and I think it's a nice width that, if somebody wanted to kind of wear it as a pashmina, they totally could go to the opera, or you could, you can layer it over and put a nice shawl pin in there, and just kind of go around, keep your shoulders warm. Anyway, so that's that. That's my woven scarf and my new one. The new one's going to be called Sangria and a Bahama Mama scarf. Because I sound like a lush. And I really do when I say I'm drinking on the show as well. In case you're wondering what I'm drinking, it's my Pank drink, which is Deep Eddy's lemon vodka with some strawberry lemonade, 0-calorie flavored water stuff. Delish. All right. Let's move into In the Spotlight. What are we watching and reading? All right. So I forgot to bring up what I was reading, so I will do that here in just a second. We finished Stranger Things Season 3. I definitely feel like each season has their own feel. This one, I enjoyed the ride. I don't know if it was my favorite season. I still enjoyed the first one, but I feel like most shows I enjoy the first season. I feel like even more than last season, which I felt like this as well. When shows gain popularity, they get more funding. And of course, with that, they can do more with special effects and CGI. There was a lot of CGI in this season. And what I really loved about the first season was there wasn't, because they didn't have the budget. And so, the Demogorgon in the first season was an actual man dressed in a costume that they fabricated, and it came off much more realistic than now. I know they're the monster's grown and it gets scarier and blah, 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 but I wish they'd go back to a little bit more of that. But still watching Dead to Me on Netflix Season 1, which stars Christina Applegate. We started watching Umbrella Academy, which is a Netflix original. It's got Ellen Page as well as a few several other actors in it. But that's based off of a comic book, and it's about 7 children who were miraculously born. Their mothers were not pregnant at the beginning of the day, and by the end of the day, they all were born, and there was like 49 of these babies born on this specific day. And this millionaire goes around and tries to purchase and adopt several of the babies, and he gets 7 of them, 6 of which have special abilities. So it's kind of a superhero, different take, and I don't know, we're enjoying it. So we've watched, I think, 2 episodes. We're also watching Press Your Luck, which I like. I did not watch it previously. Andy loves game shows, so he's seen previous episodes. But and Elizabeth Banks does a good job hosting it, so we've been staying up to date with that. Movie-wise, we did watch the other night Cock Blockers, which was a summer funny movie. I don't know her name. She's the lady from the Jergens commercials. John Cena and somebody else is in it. And basically they all have a daughter that are 3 best friends, and it's their prom night, their senior year, and they've all made a pact to lose their virginity, the daughters, on prom night, and the parents are on a mission to make that not happen. So it's funny. I thought John Cena did a nice job. He was rather funny, and it made me chuckle several times. So there was that. All right, let me bring up really quickly. I did finish a book, except I'm trying to... I have so many tabs open, it's not even funny. So, Goodreads. I've started another one, which I'm almost done listening to. I finished this book on the way to SSK. I finished it in the first couple of hours, and then I... started a new one. Oh my goodness. Sorry. It's not letting me move it over. It's being a hassle. But I'm going to read you the synopsis of this book. I rated it 3 stars. I'd probably give it 3.5. It was all right. I tend to go to Amber, the yarn hoarder. Her sister is a huge book fanatic, and I think we like a lot of the same books. She likes kind of paranormal, scary Stephen King. So a lot of times if I'm just like, I don't know what to read, I will go to her sister's Instagram, who she's like Book Wife Life, I think, and I'll look. She posts pictures of covers of books she's been reading, and I will kind of peruse that. So I've done that with 2 of the books, one of which I'm listening to right now. But I did finish reading The Bird Eater by Anaya Alborn, and it was published in 2014, and I will read you the synopsis. So it goes a little something like this. 20 years ago, the mysterious death of his aunt left Aaron Holbrook orphaned and alone. He abandoned his rural Arkansas hometown, vowing never to return until his 7-year-old son died in an accident, plunging Aaron into a nightmare of addiction and grief. Desperate to reclaim a piece of himself, he returns to the hills of his childhood, to Holbrook House, where he hopes to find peace among the memories of his youth. But solace doesn't come easy. Someone, or something, has other plans. Like Aaron, Holbrook House is but a shell of what it once was, a target for vandals and ghost hunters who have nicknamed it the Devil's Den. Aaron doesn't believe in the paranormal, at least not until a strange boy begins following him wherever he goes. Plagued by violent dreams and disturbing visions, Aaron begins to wonder if he's losing his mind, but a festering darkness lurks at the heart of Holbrook House, a darkness that grins from within the shadows, delighting in Aaron's sorrow, biding its time. So, I enjoyed the setup, and maybe because I was driving, but I felt like the ending really wrapped up really quick that I was like, wait, what? And it was like the big climax, and then I felt like I missed something. So that's why I rated it down from like a 4-star. But other than that, I enjoyed it. I thought the narrator did an okay job. His voice was a little for me. But yeah, I'd say give it a shot if you're interested in kind of the paranormal ghost story type of thing. All right. So, Moving on, stash enhancement. I've been to a retreat, y'all. I got some stash enhancement. So, a goodie bag was pretty cool at SSK. It was a really big, huge zippered crossbody messenger bag tote. Very heavy material with a bunch of coupon codes and things in it. But they went for higher quality things and less accoutrement. And they had sock blockers in there that kind of puzzle piece together so you can make the foot longer to adjust for your size. The only problem is they don't really fit into each other. They don't lock into each other really well. So I may be giving those away at our retreat or on the podcast in future. I have several sets of sock blockers now, and I went to actually machine washing my socks at the end of last cold season, so I don't really block my socks other than to when they're first knit and to take pretty photos. So, but inside the bag, the goodie yarn was dyed by Teeny Button Studios, who I met last year at SSK. She is from New Orleans. I always want to say New Orleans, but I can't do an accent at all, so... but I really love to go to New Orleans sometime. But I never picked up any of her yarn last year, even though I was intrigued, but I didn't buy any yarn last year. And I was tempted to get some of her yarn this year, but then I was like, no, I've got a skein in my goodie bag. So this is on her Squish DK, which is 250 yards, 215 grams in the Judgy Rabbit colorway, which is really cool and very much has the Mardi Gras feel to it, you know, with her New Orleans roots. So I think I picked some fingerless mitts to knit with this DK. And then I signed on to get the extra fiber. So you could get fiber or yarn, and then you could buy an additional if you wanted. This year, the yarn or the fiber came from Two Guys Yarn Company, and it is some carded roving that looks like this with a variety of fibers in it. So I guess they dyed the individual fibers and then carded it together. This is in the Escape, which is ESSKAPE colorway, a specially prepared limited edition roving, about 4 ounces. The fiber content is 55% Romney. That's the purple, violet, and black. I don't see any black in there, really. It's in there somewhere. 10% nylon, which is the white. 15% banana, which is the pink. I've never spun banana before. And 20% South Down, which is the gray. So, should be fun to spin. I don't think I've spun from this kind of fiber prep before. So, that was neat. And I got that. And then I won a door prize on the second night, on the closing ceremonies. I was like, oh, it's another year. I'm not going to win anything. And I had a decent amount of door prize tickets. I won 40. They do like scratch-off tickets in their goodie bags. And I won 40 extra ones, and you get 10, and I brought a bunch of sweaters and things for the try-it-on room, but I did win a skein, which I don't even remember putting in for this one, but I must have put in a few, because I really wanted a different skein of hers. But I won a skein of Nomadic Yarns, who is Ashley, and she is out of the Northern Illinois area. And Laura was really mad that I won this because it is a Harry Potter reference, I guess. And it is in the Astronomy Tower colorway on her Tweedy sock, which is 438 yards, 85% superwash BFL, 15% Donegal Nep, which is the tweed. So it stripes with gray, black, purple, and gold. So excited to win that. And so that is pretty much it. I did go to the trunk show yesterday, and there was a couple of things I had my eyes on. I did not allow myself to get any yarn, even though I really wanted yarn for a shawl, but it needed 6 skeins of Manos Silk Blend. And then they had a hat kit, but I was like, with beads, and I was like, I told myself, no, I have so many kits, it's not even funny. But she did have a sign. She was selling them, but she also had one in her bathroom, and it's a little like thought bubble, and it says, I'd rather be knitting. And so I already took that to the studio, and while it would be cute in the bathroom, especially like above the toilet, no one's going to see it. And it'd be funny like if you were sitting on the toilet, you know what I mean? But no one's going to see you sitting there, So anyway, needless to say, I have it right next to where I sit at my desk on the pegboard, so it looks like when I'm sitting and working at the computer, it says I'd rather be knitting, which is super cute. And then I picked up a yarn bowl. I've had several yarn bowls. I think I have one somewhere, and I just don't know where it's at. Maybe it's in my closet upstairs, but this was a beautiful piece of pottery, and it was 40% off. She was clearancing it out. She told me it is from Lickin' Flames, and it's hand-thrown pottery yarn bowl. And I figured Andy would like it, and it's going to sit on our ottoman, so when I'm knitting at night, watching Netflix with him, I can throw my skein of yarn in here. And here it is. So it's kind of creams and dark burnt browns, and it's got that pop of yellow and swirl of orange. And it even already has little cork things on the bottom to not scratch anything up. And it's a nice size, and I like the way it comes up. So there's that. Oh, what a yarn bowl. I like to support the shops that bring us in and support us. All right. This episode's giveaway, we're going to move away from books for a week for an episode. And I got a lovely box of donations to pull from for yarn. So I decided, why not grab a skein? So I grabbed what was on top. And it's a skein of Madeline Tosh Euro Sock, which is 100% merino wool, 435 yards of a fingering weight, in the Out From Under colorway, which is mostly this natural colorway with like pops of burgundy, blue, lighter blue. There's a little bit of like a terracotta and yellow. So, sorry, it's blowing it out. It always does that with white colors. So, looks like it's been a little bit reskeined, and I didn't feel like messing with it. So, I'm like, it's good. But, anybody can win this who's watching. So if you're interested, there's already a thread up in our Ravelry group, which is the Dramatic Knits video podcast group. You must be a member of the group to be eligible to win. And you go to the thread for the Madeline Tosh Euro Sock giveaway, click on that thread, and post a reply to this episode's prompt. The prompt for this giveaway is, if you could have your own reality show, what would the premise be? Let's make it fun. If you want to make it knitting, sure, but I feel like everybody is. What would be a different reality show that you would want to produce or be on? If you could have your own reality show, what would the premise be? So, one post per person puts you in the drawing to win this next episode. All entries must be in by Sunday in 2 weeks, and we will use a random number generator to pull for a winner. So good luck and go on over and enter. We've been losing entry people, but I'm hoping with some yarn, maybe more people will enter. So, all right, let's move into Inside the Knitter Studio, shall we? So Inside the Knitter Studio is our Q&A, where you are able to go onto our Ravelry group, and it's under the thread Podiversary Q&A, question and answer, and you can go on there and ask myself, as well as Amanda when she's joining us, any question you would like, as long as it's relatively appropriate, and we will answer it here on the podcast as we move through them. So this episode's question comes from Joe Sock Monster, who's Joe, and I had a lovely time getting to see her in Nashville, where she's from. She was at SSK, and if you ever follow the SSK tag, she's the one who always sings little parody songs at SSK, and she's a hoot and a half. So she asked, what is the age difference between Steve and Mandy, and are there other siblings? So there's a 10-year age difference between Amanda and I. So she just turned 24, and I am about to turn 34 next month, at the end of next month. So just under a month, I'll be 34. So 10 years. We have different fathers. My mom was married to my dad, and when I turned 1, they divorced because my dad was a D-bag, and if you don't know what a D-bag is, well, he just wasn't a very good guy. And, my mom had dated a couple of people throughout my childhood, and Mandy was a surprise, which she knows. And, I remember my mom sitting me down and going, do you want a brother or sister? And I was like, yes. I do. And so, Mom had Mandy, and unfortunately that relationship did not last into Mandy being born. So her dad was not around for the first several years of her life, tried to rekindle. Again, not a good guy. My mom has not the best luck in men. Yeah, so due to my mom being a single mother, we had a 3-bedroom house. She had to rent one of our rooms for many years as we were children. So the first 2 years of Mandy's life, we actually shared a room, and I was helping in the parenting process a little bit and getting up and feeding and, all that stuff. Do we have other siblings? We both have step-siblings. We are half-siblings, but we both have step-siblings that we are not familiar with. So they're out there somewhere, but we don't really we consider each other siblings, and that's it, if that makes any sense. So 10 years is kind of a big age difference, but I've heard it's not the largest age difference by any standard. So, but it is hard. Andy a lot of times brings out how I do like to father her sometimes, and it's hard to not want to parent all the time. But yeah. So. All right, thank you, Joe, for your question. If you would like to ask us a question, go on over to that thread and post a question over there. Let's move into a round of applause. First up is our drawing from last episode's giveaway, which is this book, Family Knits, 25 Hand Knits for All Seasons by Debbie Bliss. And the prompt last episode was, what kinds of things are normal now, but will be highly valued antiques a century later? And the random number generator selected number 4, who is Frosty62, and then it's Denise from Illinois. So congratulations, Denise. And she said fax machines will be highly valued antiques in the future. I get that they will be antiques because they're kind of antiques now. Whether they'll be highly valued, we'll see. But I really had a good time. Not a whole lot of people entered last episode, but I did have a good time reading what people said would be highly valued antiques. So if you haven't, go on over there and check out that thread. But congratulations, Denise. If you would please shoot me a private message on Ravelry with your first and last name, mailing address, and email address. If you'd like tracking, I will send that out to you as soon as I can. I do want to encourage you to enter everything you finish this month, and we are coming to the close of the month. You only have a few more days left to post pictures of your finished objects for the month of July in the July 2019 Race to the Finished Object Contest. So you get to post a picture in a separate post for each thing you finish in a particular month. That gets you an entry into a drawing for a wonderful physical prize from generous donators from viewers like you. PBS, maybe. As well as a pattern from our featured designer. And right now we are featuring Jen Lucas of Jen Lucas Designs. So you can check out a link to her pattern page on our show notes, which can be found at dramaticknits.com. So if you don't finish by the end of July, don't worry. Just go and post it in the August thread, which I will post on August 1st. And that'll get you entered into next month's. But all right, let's move into center stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. First off, let's talk about August's colorway of the month. So, this month's colorway is called Moonstone, which is a beautiful gemstone that can have can be more white, but can also have some purples and blues and be very iridescent and just kind of have that hidden beauty. And I don't know, I saw this colorway and it made me think of it, and then Mandy found the perfect inspiration photo, which if you follow us on Instagram, sometimes we work from inspiration photos, sometimes a lot of times we experiment and we let the yarn speak to us, and then Amanda does an amazing job of finding that perfect inspiration photo. Really encapsulates what we were kind of thinking when we named the colorway. So anyway, you're like, shut up, Steve, just show us the new colorway. Here it is. So this Massage Speckles navy blue and then a deep purple. And so you have a variety, because it's a massage speckle, you have a variety of intensities in it and highlights and lowlights. And this is on our showstopper, which is always the most popular by far. We will, of course, have sock sets with our Dames at Sea. The navy, the beautiful navy, is what's going to be the coordinating mini skein this month. And then if you're wondering what it looks like knit up, this is worsted knit flat on a size 7. So again, if you knit in the round, if you knit it in another gauge, if you knit it with thinner yarn, it may always look different. But if you're wondering at least kind of an idea, this is what it looks like knit up. So again, this is Moonstone, which is our August 2019 colorway of the month. If you have a local yarn store that stocks the colorway of the month, they'll be getting that in the first week of the month. If you have a local yarn store that stocks us already but does not get the new colorway every month, tell them to reach out and that you would like to see the new colorway coming every month. They can subscribe with us. We don't do subscriptions for our customers, but we do a monthly subscription for our wholesale clients so that the new shop gets the new colorway every month. If you do not already have us being stocked at your local yarn store, please recommend us. All of our wholesale accounts have come by word of mouth and meeting shop owners at events, and we would love to be at your local yarn store. If they just recommend us, they can Google search us. There is a wholesale information tab at the top of our website where they can email us for information and place orders there as well. So, that's the new colorway of the month. We have some new items in the shop. They are only going to be up for the next couple of days before they are hidden to go with us to Stitches Midwest, but they will be back up Monday next week once Mandy does inventory. We have new project bags coming to Stitches Midwest. They have not been updated to the website yet. Amanda has been inundated with a lot of work and she just has not had time to do that. But we do have, as I said, new shawl cuffs, which here's a prototype of one, some of a variety of different types. Each one's kind of its own kind. They come from the Rusted Stitch, Stephanie, who is based out of Iowa. And you can follow her on Instagram. If you're wondering what a shawl cuff does, they loop, and there's 2 loops so you can adjust the size. And they have a grommet here, or a closure thing. And then you put your shawl through and then kind of loop it, and it keeps the shawl from falling off your shoulder. And it has a nice accent piece. Some of ours are a little short, but some of them can be, well, my wrists are kind of small. I saw this on the Grocery Girls. They were like, you could also wear it as a bracelet. So they do make good accessories. Now, I have small wrists, but some of them are a little bit longer. You can try them on. Susan at Starstruck Cat Yarn Studio yesterday had her own brand of shawl cuffs that were a little bit bigger, and I did try a couple on as actual cuffs. But, ow. Anyway, my wrists are small. This is a smaller one, so it's not that great, but, they can be worn in a multitude of ways. But they are, the nice thing about Stephanie at the Rusted Stitch is it all is recycled leather. Some is faux, some is real. I don't know some will say, you can see like it's the back of an old belt or things like that. I cannot tell you whether a particular one is real or faux leather. Some of them I've even seen, it says like the back is faux leather, but the front is real, and vice versa. So if you're against that, I can't guarantee that. If you are against leather, you're vegan in a multitude of ways. I'm sorry, I can't guarantee that for you. But the other thing that is exclusive as of right now, whether she's going to carry them in her shop or not, I'm not sure, is our shawl latches, which, boy, these sold like hotcakes the first day we put them on. And they come in a variety of designs. I'm getting a new batch from her exclusively so that it's ready for Stitches Midwest. But I wanted something that did not bunch up the shawl so much so that you can, especially like with wraps and things, and you want it to flow but just stay. These are the shawl latches. So you can see here, this is the back of whatever she recycled. And this one does say grain leather made from China, again, the backs of things. But there are 2 closures. And what you're supposed to do is, and she's tried this, it does go through two layers of fingering weight yarn. What you do, and I don't want to do this on my scarf, so sorry, is you push the closures through your knitted fabric. So you get your shawl how you want it, push it through the fabric, and then you latch the other piece of leather on top of it. And the leather does loosen up a little bit more as you use them more and more, but they are slitted, so you want it a little tight because you don't want it to fall off. But then you can have your latch, almost like if you've seen jewel closures. Well, these are my version that I wanted to, I kind of worked with Stephanie to prototype these into what I was looking for, and she did an amazing job. So these shawl latches is what I'm calling them, and they're all one of a kind, unique for the most part. Sometimes there's 2, but yeah, so these are in the shop. The latches and the cuffs are going for $15. So that's a steal. And you're getting a lower price because it is recycled materials as well, and you're recycling. You're doing good in the universe as well as being trendy with your knitwear. So those are new, and then also new in the shop from Creative with Sticks, and that is Leah, who I couldn't remember last episode. We have some variety stitch marker tins in a variety of punny sayings. So this one says, I make string pretty, but we have a variety of tins. And then on the back it has Leading Men Fiber Arts and our website, and on the inside it has her information. But they come with 30 different stitch markers. So you get about 6 or so black light bulb stitch markers, and then you get a variety of hoop stitch markers without the beads. So if I love a good hoop stitch marker, and the hand beaded ones are great, but sometimes the beads fall off or the beads catch. So these are even great, and some of them are really fine for like lace weight, and sock, all the way up to your bigger needles, size 8, size 10. So there's 30 stitch markers along with the 10 for $6. You can't beat that. So we have a variety of sayings, and we will have them at Stitches Midwest. They're up in the shop right now. Of course, they'll be at all shows with us that we travel to, and we even had somebody reach out locally who wants to give them to their knitting group or knitting so they ordered, actually this saying, they ordered 10 of them that we special ordered. So if that's something you're interested, just reach out to us. We can work out an order with you. Just know it's going to take some time to order them and get them in and all that stuff. So new stitch marker sets in the shop now as well. All right, Knitting at the Estate. If you've not done so, join our Ravelry group. Our hat drive is still going strong. We have wonderful vendors planning on coming. Sponsors are OMG. Y'all, no joke. I'm sorry. Corn Dog is on top of his cage and staring out the window because we used to have an ottoman there and he'd stare and wait for Dad to come home, but now he's on top of his cage. He's climbed up there. So sponsors, people who have donated to the goodie bags and door prizes. No joke. I bet most people are going to walk away with 2 door prizes, if not more. Goodie bags, I don't even know if everything's going to fit in the goodie bag that I bought. It's going to be amazeballs. So if you're like, man, I really wish I would have signed up, don't worry, you can still come. We have 8 off-site spots still available. Off-site spots are significantly cheaper, and all it requires, you get everything included other than your lodging. And so there are 2 hotels within a 10-minute drive, and of course you can stay further away. You can Airbnb, which some people are doing. Everything is, there's information on the Ravelry group, but if you'd like to purchase an off-site spot, we still, again, have 8. Those are available for purchase on leadingmenfiberarts.com. Once you purchase your spot, I will be in contact with you with your sign-up information form as well as your class form and other pertinent information. And you get everything included. You get breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, 2 snacks every day, the goodie bag, you get a class, you can purchase additional classes, and you get all the entertainment and extra things that go along with that as well as the market on Saturday. So, get your knitting group together and come on. Come on down to Monticello, Illinois at the end of, in the middle of fall, end of September, and come join us. We're going to have a really good time. And I know people are already excited for the second one, and we haven't even had the first one yet. So, all right, upcoming shows. This weekend is Stitches Midwest. We are leaving bright and early Thursday morning. This is our hometown Stitches, so it's really nice that we don't have to get there a day early and set up on Wednesday. Most people will be, but we get up early on Thursday and drive straight up there. It's like 2.5 hours for us. And we set up on Thursday, go out to lunch, and then we're ready for the market preview, which if you are thinking about attending Stitches Midwest, they have changed Stitches admission. Stitches preview, the market preview on Thursday evening from 5 to 8 is no longer just for attendees. If you are taking a class or have bought a ticket for something with Stitches, you get into the market preview for free from 5 to 8 on Thursday. But if you want to be one of the first ones on the market floor, you can purchase a market preview ticket for $15 to get in on Thursday evening. If you would like to attend on the weekend, either Friday or Saturday, you can purchase a one-day ticket for $15, or you can purchase a two-day ticket, I believe is $20 for Friday and Saturday. And something new that Stitches is doing is now the market is free to get into on Sunday. So it's their friends and family day. So if you're there, if you're like, you know what, I'd like to, but I don't see the point in paying just to go shop. I used to be that way, and I get it. There's still tons of yarn to be had on Sunday. And it's honestly a little slow for us. So come on out on Sunday and keep us busy and say hi and chit chat. And we can actually have a conversation with you most likely on Sunday. And you get to, not spend the admission price and go buy more yarn. So Sunday is free. But if you want to save money to begin with, check out our Ravelry group for Leading Men Fiber Arts. Or if you have not done so, sign up for the Leading Men Fiber Arts newsletter. You can go to leadingmenfiberarts.com, and within a couple of seconds, a pop-up will pop up with the newsletter information. Or you can go all the way down to the bottom of leadingmenfiberarts.com, and there's a little tab that says newsletter. If you sign up for a newsletter, tomorrow I'm going to post a coupon postcard that gets you $7 off of admission. So whether that's a $15 one-day or a $20 two-day pass, you get $7 off, courtesy of Leading Men Fiber Arts. So I hope that you will take advantage of the coupon. And I know you do have to print it off and show it at the door to get the discount. You have to buy your ticket at the door, show the coupon, print it off, give it to them. And honestly, if they see all these coupons coming from Leading Men Fiber Arts, that helps us as well. So they do certain incentives and things like that. They're a business as well, and so if they start seeing that I'm promoting more and I'm doing social media and things like that, that helps us as well. So keep an eye out for that. And then the following weekend, we will be doing another trunk show at Yarn Hoppers in Adrian, Michigan. We were lucky enough to be invited up there last year, and we're coming back out for, we'll have a trunk show during their yarn crawl. And that's going to be August 10th during her normal business hours, which is, probably 10 to 4, 10 to 5. But I will have more information. And of course, if you sign up for a newsletter, you will get a reminder a couple days before the trunk show. Other than that, we'll be back on Sunday, the 11th, and that's when we'll be recording our next episode. Hopefully I'll have Amanda with us, but I can't make any promises. It just depends on, whether she feels like it or not, but I'm not pressuring her. Hopefully you don't mind my lonely mug by myself, but as much as I should be quicker by myself, I'm still at an hour. Anyway, if you've stuck with me this long, you don't mind, right? Thank you so much for joining me. If you have not already subscribed to Leading Men Fiber Arts via YouTube, which is the only place you can get the podcast now, I'd greatly appreciate it. Give me the thumbs up. Leave a comment. I do reply to comments that ask questions or need a response. And if you haven't joined the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group or Instagram account, follow us on Instagram, please. Or you can join the Dramatic Knits Ravelry group. We'd greatly appreciate having you in both those places. And until I, at least, will see you again in 2 weeks, I hope you knit something dramatic.